meeting. Today we are, I'm Norm Gupel with Michelle Clark, Rob Nato. We're with Bill Hickey, Gordon Bristol, Amy Doyle, Bill Carosa, Doug Proctor, Barry, and Jay Burgess for our meeting today. We are operating under the governor's executive emergency order, which gives us a right to do this meeting virtually. There is no location for this order. It's all for this meeting. It's all done online. This meeting has been posted properly, and minutes will be taken and uploaded at a future date. Before I start the meeting, I just wanted to take a minute to discuss, just point out tomorrow is Veterans Day, and just a huge appreciation to every vet that's living, that's passed, that served this wonderful country. If we can just do a quick moment of silence for everyone that's made this country fantastic, I would appreciate that. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. And welcome back. Thank you for coming to our second meeting this week. It's our second meeting of the month. It's great to see everybody here. And
Norm, I got one thing to add real quick.
Yeah.
Gordon is online, but he cannot talk or unmute himself for some reason, so he can't hear us. And I told him if he doesn't get it figured out, just to use the chat window, and I'll speak for him.
Okay, and I wonder if it's Matt. Do you think you have to unmute him or something?
Yeah, I did unmute him. Looks like he disconnected at this point.
Maybe he's
trying to
come back in.
reconnect. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll keep a close eye on him for when he comes. So the first thing to on our agenda is an approval of the minutes. If you guys got a chance to approve the November 3rd, I'd ask for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so we'll do a Michelle, Rob second. Since we are operating virtually, all roll call votes have to be done by roll call. So I will start with Michelle Clark.
Yes. Michelle Clark, yes.
Rob Nato.
Rob Nato, yes.
Amy Doyle.
Amy Doyle, yes.
Bill Carosa.
Bill Carosa, yes.
And Jay Burgess.
Jay Burgess is yes.
And Norm Gupel is a yes. So motion carries. And we do have someone taking minutes. Bill, are you taking minutes? Just someone's taking minutes.
I started, so
I don't
okay.
mind. Whoever, I just want to make sure
Thanks.
someone's, okay, perfect. All right, fantastic. All right, next on our agenda is a review of bids, calendar, costing. Basically what we give an overview of what's happened since our last meeting, which was back in October, to give an overview of what's been happening. So I am going to turn it over to BPS to give a little overview to the public on what's happened since our last board meeting and schedules and so forth.
Hold on a second. Barrett can't unmute either.
All right, hold on a second.
He's on there, but
okay.
Okay, I'll tell him to try now.
And it looks like Gordon Bristol is back on.
Barrett unmuted.
Yeah, Chris
Okay,
Kelly's joined us too.
Barry, you look like you're unmuted. Can you say something?
No, he can't. He's texting me.
Okay. And Gordon, can you hear us?
They're both texting me. Hold on.
Okay.
Gordon can hear you.
Gordon can hear. All right, what I'm going to do is Gordon, I'm going to call you and you're going to put you on speaker, and hopefully this works and it's not too much feedback for the board, for the meeting.
He says okay.
All right, so let me give this a whirl. Hi, Gordon. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to disconnect my audio from here and go to computer audio, so bear with me.
It's okay. Can you guys hear me clear? Okay. All right. All right, Gordon. So I'm gonna put you on my computer.
Whoops. Norm, you just dropped out.
Yeah, we lost you, Norm.
Big updates on the facility project since our last building committee meeting. Could you please provide the committee with an update on what has happened at our location since the last meeting?
Very good. Happy to do that. And we do provide the written report each week. So let us know if you want any modifications to that. The biggest activity that you're seeing is over at the Harold Martin School. And you're seeing the steel going up. And one of the things that's occurred, two major projects there. Number one is we have the cistern work and we have the steel for the building. And I think that's the short version of that. That's been a very successful project. The steel is all up, the roof steel is on, and at this point, we're getting ready to start the exterior walls. So you'll begin seeing that building close up. The cistern work, we have a deadline on our sprinkler budget to make sure that we have essentially complete cistern and sprinkler project by December 15th, and we will be meeting that date. So that's a little more quiet going on, but those are the two major things that you're seeing. At the other schools, at the high school, you saw that we've committed to some additional roof work, and that again is underway. It's not that much visible for anybody to see. And at the Maple Street School, again, we're buttoning up the roofs, getting ready to settle in for winter. So if anybody had any questions more specific, but the general thing is the big visible is the new building, steel going up, it's up safely now, and the cistern work going on for the sprinkler system.
And the write-ups have been very helpful, Gordon, and the photos too. I appreciate those on a weekly basis. The community has been really excited, especially over at Harold Martin. And Bill, thank you for your weekly videos. People have been really excited to see that also, so thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Gordon on his updates since our last meeting? Great, Gordon, thank you very much for that. I'm not sure, Doug or Barry, did you have any updates you wanted to provide from our last meeting you wanted to share?
It's really Barrett that should be giving the update, but he's still muted. Barrett, are you there, Barrett?
I could chime in, and I'll add in as a filler while Barry figures this. One of the things that
He's
background is all of what's called the submittals. So, for example, when we decide what colors you want, what type of walls you want, what type of furnace you want, and that is something that the architect has been providing updated information so that BPS can keep ordering that stuff. So at this point, we don't have any problem with lead times or orders on anything. HL Turner has been turning things around quickly, and we're a smooth operating machine right now. We'll have some blips at some point, but right now, everybody's staying together. The team's working fine together. The principals at all the schools, by the way, are also cooperating very well, and that makes the job a lot easier. So we're in good shape that way. Budget-wise, we continue to be on time and on schedule. Those are the two things you want to hear throughout this project. And right now that we're about 4 months into this, we actually are about 2 weeks ahead of schedule. You typically lose a lot of that during the Christmas break, and that's that natural progression of people being on holiday. But right at this current time, we're about 2 weeks ahead on schedule.
And we are going to be doing some additional work potentially, since the school board has approved some closing in November and in December for at the high school potentially, correct? Based on our last meeting from yesterday?
Correct. What we're looking at on the construction side is anytime we have a moment that we can get into school. So So yesterday, we were made aware that you're going to be on this 2-week at home, 1 week in school session over at the high school, and we're going to take advantage of every minute of that. So through mid-January, we will now take those projects that we can easily grab and put them in the schedule now, and that just frees up extra time in the summer for any possible, quirks in the system.
Gordon, no, give me 1 second. I'm going to try and get Barry merged into a phone call. Bear with me 1 second, please.
Sure.
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
There
wait.
he is.
There he is. We got him. Okay. All right. So Barry, I can hear you, Barry?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I got Gordon on the line. Thank you for finding a way to connect. Doing my best to chair this. We're getting through it. So I'm not sure if you heard what Gordon had provided for a little bit of an update. We're happy to start over real quick and just from our last meeting, just give us an update for the community on kind of where you guys are worked on since last October and kind of where we are right now real quickly. And Gordon, I'm sorry if it's a little...
Real quickly. So Harold Martin School mostly is the main focus right now. We have winding down all the structural steel work that is completed for all intents and purposes. They're just tidying up some loose ends. The light gauge steel framing company is mobilized. They began on Monday, so they're putting up the exterior wall system, and we're going to get the building enclosed and weather tight so we can begin the other trades. The cistern was installed. That is 80% backfilled. They're insulating it, and next week the site contractor will be back to complete the backfill. The 8-inch ductile iron water main has been tied into the new fire pump room. And next week when he comes back, he'll be running from the transformer to the fire pump room, the electrical power required for that. On another side note, in the preschool, the ERV, the ventilation unit has been installed, the ductwork has been completed, the wiring has been done, and they'll be coming in either tomorrow or Thursday to wire up the controls so that unit is running. Pretty much winds down Harold Martin. Maple Street roofing continues, and there was a parapet there that had failed. That has been removed. They've built up the new roof edge, and that will allow them to complete the edge metal work and that new roofing at Maple Street. So by the end of this month, Maple Street will have all its new roofing in place. That's pretty much it. We're kind of waiting for breaks over at the high school to work on some punch list items, and might use some opportunities coming up with the 2 weeks off and 1 week on system to do some work. They'll get us in good position ahead of the next summer's major push to complete the work over there. Sure, I'm forgetting something, but please ask any questions you might have.
I guess the only question I have is that's a great update. Is over at Harold Martin with the pre-K room that you're putting in the air filter to be approved from the board. When do you plan that room being actually accessible for Bill and his team to start using?
Well, if NPI gets the last part they're waiting on, which is a control unit, which is being shipped in from Massachusetts, he'll run right up and put that in. So everything should be up and running by the end of the week, maybe even into the day Thursday. And Larry will coordinate when Bill is able to get the students and staff back in that location.
I'm sure he needs the space. I'm sure
he does.
So that's great to hear. Does anyone have any questions for Barry, Gordon, or anyone else here regarding just, an overview of where we were from the project from our last meeting?
That was a little test to see if Barry and I had different answers. We would have been in trouble. We couldn't hear each other. So I'm glad we had the same story, Barry.
It's easy. It's easy to have the same story when it's just extremely factual like that just was. So no, the project's going along quite smoothly. We're quite pleased with the progress. Running slightly ahead of schedule at Harold Martin, which allows us to lose some time due to weather in the winter. So like I said, quite pleased with the progress to date. We've had a great group of subcontractors.
it's been great seeing Harold Martin go up and everything. Perfect. Thank you both. All right. Next on our agenda is discuss the school building floor and base bid and additions process and timeline. I'm not sure who's starting this off. Who would like to?
Well, I can start it off with kind of, I think you guys should be able to see it. It's a Google Sheet doc that is in the shared drive that we all have access to. As Steve and I did go to each building, looked at the list we were provided, looked at the diagrams and things that Doug had provided, and kind of came up with a plan. And so I can share my screen, right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome, please. I think Matt may have to.
Hey, Michelle, can you hear me?
I can.
Good work. I'm in the car.
Hi.
Hi,
How's everybody?
we're good, thanks.
You sounded good, Mr.
Good work.
Thanks
I'm
for
trying
good.
to,
Beautiful.
go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say it's a beautiful sunset where I am, just so you know.
Michelle, while you're doing this, I thought I'd mention, this will probably, I don't mean to make a problem. I went through the building today and just added a couple things, but we can certainly talk about.
Okay.
And it also
Did
took
you
out a
see
couple.
where
It
it
will-
was on the plans though, as to what it was? Okay, and you made
Well,
the
I put
reference.
I put it on the Google Sheet literally 10 minutes ago. So,
Okay.
um,
Matt, it looks like I can't share. I mean, yeah, it looks like it's been disabled.
That's fun. Hang on one sec.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just trying to see where the setting for that is. All right. You know what? I am just going to make you the host for now.
Okay.
And then you should be able to.
Perfect. Thanks.
All right, give it a shot.
I think it's this, and then, because then I can go in and then change my thing. Yeah, right. You guys can see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, pretty self-explanatory. This goes by room number, obviously, and then down here is some corridors. So, I don't think this is supposed to be, okay, yeah. So like, for instance, 107A, Bill, Steve, and I don't believe that needs to be done, so we should reallocate that.
Okay.
That's how this is supposed to read. 108, same thing. 109B, same thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna, go into the nitty gritties, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and hopefully, Doug and everybody else, you can see this, but like, see, these need to be done. So these should have been part of the base bid in our opinion, because they're pretty bad. So they need to be, we need to find out the cost of this and figure out how it can all work. Okay, see, now we had this little note in here, and Bill did update this. So thanks, Bill. So that's why this one's a little funky, because I created the document after, and we're all just trying to fit it into our days of updating. And then the corridors down here, this needs to be done and replaced. So I think we're pretty good now at Harold Martin, right, Bill, now that you've added a couple things?
yeah, I put in 108 wasn't necessary. 110 wasn't necessary. 110A, 112, okay. I think I put in library. That's 207, and that we didn't put that in. I'm not sure if we wanted to wait on that.
So it wasn't on our list that we were given, and then we never looked at it when we went in. I guess it's just like where it fits for you. If you feel that it needs to be done, then it'll probably have to be part of, it's probably part of the alternate, is my
Yeah, I
gut.
think so.
And so we'd get a price on it and figure out how we could, if we can, afford all the alternates that we would like.
Right, right. The whole special ed wing really is the part that doesn't need to be done. that was done, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, probably, or less.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Now,
Sure.
Maple Street, we're going to go to Amy now. So again, so to us, Steve and I felt that 9A and 9B really didn't look like it needed to be replaced at this time. And so, again, trying to do this with other things and then have the principals have time. So Amy still has to look to make sure that that's true.
Yeah, I took a look at it, Michelle. I guess I was just wondering, you know, they're such small offices, those 2 spaces, that I'm just not sure. I think it would look, you know, if it'll look weird if we don't replace
Okay.
them because they go into the, you know, into room 9. But I just don't, yeah, I don't know. There's so much covered, you know, because those rooms are so small.
Right.
And neither of the occupants were in the office. So I will double check with them to see what's really,
Okay.
it's really like underneath there.
Perfect. Thank you. So you'll see down here that like room 22 was tile, so we can reallocate that. Down here, there's some things that are like the office suite is a high priority for Amy. So those are on here too, which I believe is a alternate.
And I had one more question, Michelle, similar to Bill's question about the library. I had the library as a separate project. Remember when one of the alternates was to expand it? So and I think we had the carpet work in that. And I just don't think that's going to happen. So, you know, depending on how the reallocation goes, if they can do the corridor and the library instead of the office, you know, I'm just thinking what kids, you know, where kids will be the most, I think makes the most sense. But I don't think we're going to be able to do the expansion of the computer lab and the library.
All right, I'm adding, yeah, again, the reason why is the listing that was given, I think it was a Larry list that was provided. We kind of went off of that, and the library wasn't on there. So that's fine. I just put it on there.
Yeah, I think it was part of the other project that we had talked about. So it made sense to me that Larry hadn't put it on that list because it was really being talked about in a separate place. So thank you.
Yeah. So then we have the high school. So what I saw anyways, so Steve and I and Chris did this, we walked through the building yesterday afternoon. And I went last night and I did this document here for the high school. And when I looked on the plans, I didn't see that there was any color at all for the office suite. So it's not even part of any alternate, but maybe I just read it wrong when I was looking at it.
No, it's not part of the alternate, because if you remember the 2019 document only said that 50% of the carpet in Harold Martin and the high school gets replaced. So we had basically all the carpet in the high school is crap. So
yeah, I mean,
basically it's all crap. So you have to pick, you know, which one you're going to do, you know, what rooms you're going to do. So that's what we did.
So we felt that room 209 does not have to be done. So that can be reallocated. So to us, it was fine. Room 215 and 216, those are tile. So that can definitely be reallocated and the tile is fine. Again, there's a lot of rooms that weren't on here and they are part of the alternate. So those are ones of interest that we would like to see what the pricing would be on that. I mean, in our opinion, these rooms down here should have been part of the base bid because they were so bad. It was very apparent. Like some of the other ones we said that the money can be reallocated. I mean, room 400, 401, and 403. That's why I made that comment. 503, this isn't tile, okay. It says here, this isn't tile as indicated on the plans, but carpet, and it should be done. The library is part of an alternate, so that would be interesting to see if we could fit that in based on the pricing we get. So 252 corridor. So this is an alternate with VCT tile. Now that where that is right in the area of where the teacher's entrance is. And so I kind of put a little note here of that we still need some kind of carpet section because we have had an issue with a workers' comp thing in the past with, you know, runoff on your shoe from a, you know, stormy day might actually cause someone to slip. So that was why I tried to put that note in there. And then the corridor, as indicated on the map 310, I believe this area should be done with, and it's a base bid. So I hope this helps with what everybody might be looking for with the flooring.
I think it's a great report. I mean, and you guys, I mean, when I took a tour of the high school, there was, I think me and Rob would both say there was some floors up there on the top floor that I definitely need to get done. I am not sure. So what direction, and I guess what is the timeline in order for this committee to make some type of recommendation?
Norm, we were trying to get this ready for a January decision.
Okay.
Realizing that, I think we said in January, they're gonna have to order to get ready for a summer install.
Okay.
So November, we try to prioritize. In December, if we can cost, and then Doug, you're absolutely right. It was 50% was the scope, but if there's additional savings or something and that's what's going to be hard if we're going to know in January how much flexibility you have. We have additional alt. But we were trying to get ready, realizing that January we're going to have to put in an order in Barrett to ensure a summer install.
Yeah, as we get closer, you know, we'll take this information provided and see how it fits the base and try to make adjustments and see where it goes under or over, et cetera. But to answer your direct question, Steve, now that we have this information, I'll get it out to the individual vendors. We have 3 flooring contractors, 1 per school, and we'll get a timing and find out what our drop dead date is now that we're getting closer. We had guessed January, but I know it's the timing of it is less than desirable because we won't know exactly where we are fund-wise. So long story short,
Yeah.
if they say, hey, Barry, you don't have to order this until March, then we'll go on that. So we'll start putting feelers.
Yeah, that'll help us. Right, because I know you've always said once you get to 50, 60, 70% of the project, we can free up some funds and start looking at it. And I know January's tight for that decision.
Yeah, exactly.
So the economy of scale is only within each building. Then, right? We don't order. Every company orders, even though it's a similar carpet, they all order it themselves.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Barrett, do you want to wait for me to do an ASI on all that?
Yeah, you know,
To
then I can
clarify,
send out
I had to coordinate their document with our documents.
right. And then I can send that out to the vendors. Thank you, Doug, and do a request for proposals with them, and we'll see how it all shakes out.
So this would fall under an add-all, which we'd make a decision or recommendation for January, Steve, or are you thinking December?
Well, if Barrett can give us more flexibility, we were trying to make sure we met the deadline in order for a summer install. And at one point we had talked about a January decision to make sure, because I don't know if carpet was impacted by COVID, but we just wanted to make sure that we have the supply. I guess some of the high school stuff is ready now, right, Barrett?
High school is in a warehouse. So we have those materials ready to go. Maple Street has been released to be ordered. That's not sitting there. In Harold Martin, none of it's been ordered as of yet. Right now,
I mean, if the carpet vendor says, you know, as Barrett just said, if we order in March, we'll still be okay by summer install. That'd be great because we'll have more, you know, a couple of more months into the project. We'll know where we are in funding, but we don't want to be caught short. Flooring is something that, you know, we don't get many opportunities to economy of scale, and it really is, as Doug said, you get a lot of bang for a flooring buck for just fresh look.
Yeah.
And dollars go a long ways when it comes to flooring. So
yeah.
Sure. does anyone have any questions about this? I thank everyone for going through each room and looking at it and making an evaluation on it. I get really scared when Michelle Clark says it really needs to be replaced. That means it needs to be replaced. So I will look forward to seeing what you guys come up with in our next couple meetings. And definitely it's important to have good floors, especially during the project that we're going through. So if there's no more questions or comments about this, I'll move on to the discussed Harold Martin's intercom system quote. Michelle talking about it, or Steve, or Bill? Or
Probably Matt, because Matt's still on, and Matt is the one that worked with the vendor, right? If you don't mind, Matt, because I mean.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the basic idea is obviously we have an existing intercom system. The existing head-end unit at Harold Martin is pretty inadequate in terms of what's currently recommended for safety. The big issue there is it doesn't tie into the phone system, which means that there's one microphone in the office, and that is the only microphone that could make a whole school announcement. So if there was an emergency situation somewhere, there was, you know, it's not a case that just anyone could say, hey, you need to get out of this building right now. So the life safety folks have been trying to say any staff member should be able to call a lockdown or call an evac or something like that. So obviously tying into, you know, the new classrooms and then looking at replacing that had a lot of appeal because the office is moving as part of this work anyway. So there was going to have to be something done. So we worked with a vendor and we have the quote. I don't know how much detail we want to go into, but basically putting in a new head-end unit, running wiring to the existing area so that it can feed back to that, and then tying into the phone system is the basic idea, as well as obviously installing the speakers and system for the new areas.
Are we able to get a dollar amount on that now? What it was?
Yeah, it's it should be in the drive, but it's $14,935.
And what is this considered? Is this considered an add-on from the scope, from outside the scope of this project?
Well, I think
we talked soft costs.
Soft costs.
This would come out of the owner's side. It was a very good meeting that your administration ran on this, and I was able to then capture the good price. You don't have to go out to bid now on this if you don't want to, but it would come out of our side of the so-called soft costs.
Okay. So this committee can make the recommendation minus the board would have to go through it since it comes out of soft costs. Is that correct, Steve?
Yeah, the only what we're in the process of doing right now is trying to get a picture of all the soft costs, which includes you know, like the technology in the classrooms that Matt's working on. It would also include, I think, well, the FM systems. I think, well, that's kind of outside, but it's kind of inside. So I don't know what the order, but I think it's essential. I mean, we for safety reasons, and we did try to get grant money to upgrade the PA system at Harold Martin School, but you know, I think it was just an FYI to the committee, realizing that we have to have an intercom system, and Matt just articulated the best way to go. So I think it's more of an FYI, but expect that this will be done as part of the project.
And is there a pretty long lead time on this, you think, due to COVID?
You know, no, I don't know. I wouldn't think so.
That wasn't the sense that I particularly got from the vendor. You know, there's certain, oh, sorry.
Hold on a second, hold on. What were we saying, Matt?
I was just saying that it wasn't the impression that I got from the vendor that there was a particularly long lead time on this, but probably, you know, depending on when we need it, we probably want to give them a couple months just to be 100% certain, you know, because stuff happens. So.
Okay.
And then what Gordon was saying is that the only gating issue is anything that's going to go in the walls as we start buttoning them up. But that's still a month and a half away. Barry can keep us posted on that. But at some point we are sheetrocking walls, and you want it in the walls.
Okay. No, and this is definitely something that I think is extremely important. I guess my question is do we have this implemented in our other schools, or is this will be exclusively Harold Martin having this? Does the Maple Street have such an option, Amy, that you can go to?
Yep, we, yes, every phone has the ability to do an all call already.
Okay, and Harold, and high school has the same thing too already?
Yes, they do.
sir.
Okay, so I mean, it's, well, that means all 3 school buildings would be following the same methodology of being safe and secure. So
Yeah.
that
To,
sounds
to
like,
be to be clear, Norm, we can call from phone to phone, but not in the hallways, not outside, not
Okay.
here in the bathrooms, that sort of thing.
okay, got it. Okay, does, I guess my next step is, what is the timetable that we're looking for to kind of, let's say, pulling the trigger? I know we've been really careful with pulling trigger on things, making sure that we're going through the necessary steps for priority. What is the timetable where we kind of say, if we're all in agreement that this is something we need to do, which I strongly believe it's important for the safety and security, of the Harold Martin, what's the timetable to say, yeah, this is going to come out of soft costs and we're going to move forward with it?
Well, what
I
Gordon
think
just
it's the-
said, right? I think we got to make the decision soon because of the fact of with the walls going up, that we
Yeah.
would need to have this decided and I guess ordered so that it would be able to be installed prior to the walls being all done.
Jay, you're my CEO on this type of thought process. What's your thoughts on it?
Because it's a soft cost item that, look at it as akin to furniture or any of the other technology that was on the owner's side of the ledger. I would say that there's no reason, particularly since we don't want to get tangled up with the construction schedule. I would say we should consider just saying we want to do this now. I don't think we need it. All of this falls into the owner's soft cost. So I think that's something we could decide tonight.
Rob, and what's your thoughts on moving forward with this pretty much now?
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's not going to go out to bid and it's going to need to be done, sooner than better.
Okay. So if there's anyone here that objects to us moving forward with it, I am going to ask that this team moves forward with pursuing this option. Does anyone have an objection to this? Steve, are you comfortable with this?
I think it's great. It's got to be done earlier, so to make sure that they have it as they build everything in the right order. I think, yep, it's got to be done.
Okay, so Barry, you've got the marching orders to move forward with this.
I
Okay,
actually think it's a me thing, but
Yep.
Oh, Michelle.
I think I
Okay,
put the
Michelle.
PO in and yeah, I think then I give it to Matt and Matt gets it to the vendor.
Do you need a motion or are you good with our instruction, Michelle?
I think it's good.
We're
Yeah,
good? All
I
right.
think I'm fine.
Perfect. You guys are awesome. All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you for the discussion on that. Okay, so we've discussed the system quote. We've talked to Florin. So the next thing to discuss a little bit is the financial report. Michelle, back to you.
Yeah, so in the packet, or on the drive, I should call it more, you'll see the financial that we have. And so far, we've spent just under $1.4 million. And so the way I show it in the reporting system is because we've gone over to a different fiscal year, I have to run from 2 different fiscal years. And that's why it's on 2 different reports with a little tape that shows what I just talked about. Attached also is the big spreadsheet that kind of gives you an idea of the different contracts that we have and where we are with those, and we're right on target with that. And we have received a little bit of income for interest on that. I know that the Finance Committee will talk about it tomorrow night, and I know we've briefly talked about it before, but at some point a decision needs to be made if we're going to look to have that interest that we earn on this as part of a project cost so that we could spend it. we would need it to be a warrant article to go to the voters for approval of that. Otherwise, the money would just go back to the general fund. And so I think that's it. I can answer anybody's questions if they have any.
And the finance committee's on Thursday.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm so used to Wednesday and I forgot that tomorrow's a holiday.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Michelle, how much money are we talking about?
So I didn't run the thing. I mean, 1 month we got 500. Really, it depends. I mean, we're not going to get lots and lots of money as we would have. Well, let me preface this. In the very beginning, the thought was maybe we'd earn quite a bit of interest, but because of how the economy is right now, we're really, not going to earn as much. But we probably could earn, I would bet, because remember, we're going to actually have another bond that we're still going to get. And so we don't know what the economy is going to do for that, time frame. If I had to guess, between $5,000 and $10,000. I mean, it could get us. I don't know what a room costs for carpet, but in essence, I guess I'll use that as an analogy because we just talked about flooring. It probably could buy us
Like how you
a
talk.
couple rooms of flooring.
Nice. Like that, Michelle. Good work. We like that.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. The finance chair over there was like, ooh, 5-10 grand. Perfect. Does anyone have any questions for Michelle?
No, I like how classroom flooring has become a currency now.
I like that too.
Awesome. Okay, if there's no other questions for that, well, we're going to move on. Our next thing on the agenda is public comment. And I'm going to open up public comment right now. And I think that's Steve Chamberlain's phone number. So I think that's
just me.
I am going to close public comment. Great. So I just want to say that I'm very pleased with the project. I think it's been going great at all the locations. I appreciate the updates, communication, this team. I appreciate everyone practicing safety for COVID and everything. And it's just been very happy seeing this. And thank you all for all your hard work and really being dedicated to this project. The community loves it. I love it. And I am looking forward to seeing more and more work down the road. Does anyone have any other questions before I adjourn the meeting? I guess our next potential meeting may be December 1st. Let me look at I get a little worried, Michelle, because the budget season's coming up. Let me look at my calendar.
Yeah, that's why I put it as a question mark because it falls back to the first Monday of the month. But as you see with 12/1, it's just barely the month.
How does a December 8th gives us a week out work for people? I kind of like doing it a week into the December. How about December 8th for our next meeting? Does anyone have any objections to a December 8th? Steve, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I can't look at my calendar right now because I'm in the car. But yeah, we just have to repost, but no problem. Whatever you want, we serve at the pleasure.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it December 8th. It gives us a little more time to get more information for this project, and we can always change the date. You have plenty of time in 24 hours. Amy?
Rob and I would have it. We have a meeting that starts at 5.
Oh, on December 8th?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we just leave it?
Search, right? Yeah.
Why don't we leave it for December? Oh, that's right. That's the other thing, right? So let's leave it for December 1st. I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to give you guys a little more time. So I'm gonna stick to December 1st for our next meeting. If something happens, you'll all be notified. With that, sorry for the technical problems to get this going. I appreciate all your patience. Gordon, thank you for dialing in. And with that, I am going to adjourn the meeting, and I hope everyone has a nice day off tomorrow, okay? Thank you, guys. Take care.
Good night, everybody.